Welcome to the Vantage HR Influencers Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Vantage Circle.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Vantage HR Influencers Podcast. I'm your host, Riha, and today we are diving into an important topic. That is the evolving role of HR in boardroom decision making. For a very long time, HR was seen mainly as a function that managed people, processes, hiring policies, and employee concerns. But today, that role has changed significantly. HR is now expected to contribute to business strategy, culture, leadership, workforce planning, and long term growth. This boardroom is no longer just about the financial and operational decisions, it is also about people, capability, and organizational readiness. However, the challenge is that many organizations still view HR through a narrow lens, even when business outcomes are deeply connected to people's strategy. And that is where the conversation becomes very important. And to help us unpack this, I'm joined by Dr. Sharmishta Roy Chaudhary, CHRO, Group Head HR, and Principal HR Advisor at VForm Technopax Limited.
Thanks, Ria. Thanks. Thanks, Ria. So the topic seems to be quite interesting, and it's thank you for having me here. It's a great opportunity and pleasure to talk to you. If you let me introduce myself. I started my journey way back in 2003 or so. So I began my journey with Reliance Communications Limited, where I built a strong foundation in operations, people management, and HR. I have done transactional HR into leadership development. From there, I have worked with several companies, right from Walchand People First, Dale Carnegie Training, Mercedes-Benz, Huhtamaki Group, which was then the Positive Packaging Industries Limited, DCW Limited, and also I was ex-Chief Human Resource Officer for People Administration in NSE Group organization. I have a strong passion for strategic HR, and I pursued my PhD from TISS, Tata Institute of Social Science, Mumbai. My thesis subject was strategic human resource management. I focused on strategic human resource management in FinTech 3.0 organizations. Currently, I'm serving as Principal HR Advisor, CHRO Group Head HR at VForm Technopax Limited, an SIPL group, and leading people enterprise, and people strategy, leadership development, and workforce planning and entire organizational capability development. So this is a little bit about me.
First of all, welcome to the show. And that was such an inspiring venture. Thank you for sharing it.
Okay, so the topic that you have chosen is very interesting. As I was telling you, HR in boardroom, from people partner to strategic advisor. When we think about today's boardroom, the conversation is no longer about revenue, margin, about market share. It all has kind of stopped from there. And behind every strategic decision, I believe, whether it is a digital transformation or let's say expansion into new markets or mergers, acquisitions, or even ESG for that matter, there is one common factor, that is people. And I have believed that strategy exceeds or fails not only having rights structures in place, but it is because people are willing or able to execute it or not. That's why HR has evolved from being a support function to becoming a strategic function in today's world. So, for example, you see, I have seen organizations making significant technological transformations. They have invested a lot, but the expected business outcomes didn't materialize. In my journey, I have seen that it is because employees mostly are were not ready to take the change, or the organizations did not make the employee ready. So the technology works perfectly, the adoption didn't. That's where I realized the most important in transformation is fundamentally about people. And this topic definitely interests me a lot.
That's great to hear, Sharmishta. It's such a strong start to our session, and I'm really looking forward to the conversation ahead. Okay, so shall we begin then in our
Yes, please.
into our topic further?
Yes, please.
Okay, great then. Okay, so Sharmishta, uh, HR has traditionally been seen as the people function. But you see, today we are seeing HR leaders entering into a more strategic boardroom conversations. So, what do you really think has caused this shift? What do you have to say?
Yes, I think there are several forces behind it, that is been past few years. That is my observation. Now, the first thing is that there is that business transformation has become not it is no more a business transformation, it is more about people transformation. Whether we are
Yes.
talking about, whether we are talking about AI, digital transformation, automation, the global expansions, success depends obviously on technology, but I would say less on technology, but more, on the people, how they embrace the change. Like, for example, I have seen, as I was talking in the beginning, I have seen large transformative projects in my journey, where transformation was implemented, huge investments were made, but the effectivity was not that high. That is because the adoption remained very low. Managers weren't equipped to lead, the transition. It is important that the people change rather than the technology challenge. It is more of a people challenge, I would say. That is my one of my experience in my journey. The second shift came from the pandemic. We all have observed pandemic in 2020, how we were shut down in our homes. Still there was business continuity, and boards realized from that time that employee well-being and being resilient is very, very important. It's a part of organization culture. From the board's perspective now, its organization culture weren't about HR topics. That time it was more about the business continuity issues, and that was a great take during the pandemic time. And the third factor to me was, how investors today evaluate more on, do not yesterday it used to be investors would be evaluating on the financial performance, but my observation, and as I am getting groomed as independent director, I'm going through courses, and in my current and past companies, I've seen how investors are taking a lead to understand the leadership capability, succession planning, diversity, ESG, governance. These topics have become very important than only the focus of financial performance. Therefore, I think that these all areas HR plays a more strategic role. The talent landscape has also changed a lot during these phases. Organizations today, I think, is competing as much as skills as they are competing for customers. Therefore, talent becomes a strategic asset. And boards increasingly, they are discussing about the workforce capability as a competitive advantage. So finally, HR, what brings to the table is the data. Without workforce analytics, any decision is at risk. Therefore, whether we are talking about attrition risk, or we are identifying the capability gaps or support of business decisions with evidence, without evidence it becomes just an intuition, Right. So the conversation has shifted more on how we manage people rather than how do people create business value. So that's my take on this beautiful question that you have taken it up.
Sharmishta, I must say that you have, beautifully given a structure on this question. Okay. And what really stood out for me personally, I feel like initially that you mentioned that how people are meant to embrace the change and not just transformation or technology. That's where mainly, people get stuck, or basically that's the point where transformation or transitions happen, right? When people have things but they're not well equipped to it, like you mentioned, yes, initially.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
about you I really liked how you talked about those times during the pandemic which changed the entire workforce scenario, yes. And about leadership capability, and yes, the importance of workforce analytics, which
Yeah.
we really can't give up given the situation and how things are transforming, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. You've taken it very point wise, very correctly. Yeah,
Okay, great.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So, Sharmishta, moving ahead. What are the key business decisions today where HR's voice is no longer optional? What do you think?
Oh, okay. Good question. I believe that HR should be involved earlier. I mean, HR standpoint is no longer a transactional leader. It has become a transformational function nowadays, isn't it? So I
Yes.
believe that HR should be involved much earlier in the strategic discussions than any other discussions have. I mean, when the discussions have already been made, and then if the organization is involving HR, it becomes difficult. Whether it's
Yes.
so whether it's an organizational restructuring, say, be it merger or acquisitions, be it leadership succession, digital transformation, business expansion, global market expansion, workforce planning, executive compensation, people implications are very critical in today's scenario. And therefore, deciding factor between success, it is people function, and people is a deciding factor between success and failure. So, Ria, I believe this is very critical and very nice question. And let us take an example. Take AI as an example. Like, now, many organizations focus on selecting technology, but the real question is, maybe the technology, we got the right technology, we have invested a lot, but employees, we have to reflect whether our employees have that skill, that confidence to use it effectively. Without reskilling or change management, even the best technology may not deliver the right output or the results for which the investments organizations are doing. Similarly, I have seen expansion plans where market opportunity is ample, lucrative and exquisite, but leadership capability in most of the organizations, or in some of the cases I've seen, has fell flat because the leadership capability on the ground wasn't ready. So we, as the leaders in the organization, need to first understand how we equip our leaders, our people, with the change. The challenge wasn't is never the strategy. In the failed cases, in the cases that is gonna come, So the challenge is never the strategy. It is about the organizational readiness, and that's where HR adds value by asking one question: do we have leadership capability to execute this strategy? If we are able to answer this, we have done it. That's my take on this.
Okay, Sharmisha, that was a brilliant take on particularly the leadership capability and the organizational readiness that you have completely stressed on. I totally agree with what you say. It's HR's role has been often limited in the transactional, like you mentioned earlier, but it's more in the transformational stage. Its importance lies mainly in the decision making process, right? Not post the decision. And yes, how to equip leaders with the change, and to
Make the
assess
talent
the
force ready.
organizational.
Absolutely.
Yes. So that's
Absolutely.
where that's where the organizations falter, right? And yeah,
Absolutely.
HR comes into the picture there, to analyze and assess whether things are in control, whether things are in order, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, great. So moving ahead, Sharmishta. So boards, they often discuss financial risk, operational
Yeah.
risk, and market risk, as you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
But do you think talent and culture risk is also a board level risk now? What do you have to say about this?
Oh, yes, 100%. I think, in fact, I would argue that talent risk and culture risk are among the critical and significant business risks today, unlike yesteryears. So
Yes.
culture isn't simply about employee engagement or the workplace happiness, which we used to think in our previous, years. It was more of building a happy workplace, building the right employee engagement. But that is not defining culture anymore. It is about how decisions are made, how leaders behave, how organizations respond when they are under pressure. That's where
Yes.
the right culture sets in. So we have seen organizations with excellent products, with wonderful financial performance, but we have also seen some of these organizations have major setbacks because of leadership failure, governance issues, or unhealthy cultures. Therefore, those weren't HR problems, they became business problems. So that's why boards in today's era, in today's scenario, should regularly review not only financial performance, it should review leadership succession, critical talent retention, employee engagement in terms of how productive, how happy they are, in terms of ethical culture, diversity, leadership effectiveness, and I would say future skills, with the same discipline and same vigor as financial performance. Ultimately, because ultimately culture shapes business outcomes. If we don't
Yes.
focus on culture, we don't focus on the right output that we are willing to get it. So that's what I think about this question.
Okay, Sharmishta. Uh, I believe there is a very significant key takeaway that you have given in this answer, and that is how culture shapes business outputs. Like, that is central to this answer here, because that is what connects culture and the business outcomes, right? They do not work in isolation, but they
They
work
do not
together.
work in isolation.
Just like how
Absolutely.
yes. So, this culture, like you said, that culture and talent, they are, the important factors which should be a part of the board level discussions, right? So when this is impacted, definitely the business outcomes will get inevitably impacted. Yes,
Yes,
because of their
absolutely. And
effectiveness.
and at the board level, it used to be always about financial performance, but now it is more about leadership capability, how succession planning,
Absolutely.
how to retain the critical talent workforce. These reviews have to be done at the board level also, I believe. Then only the organization will get the right culture and the right output. Yes. Yes, Priya.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said, Samishta. Okay. So, moving ahead, Sharmishta, sometimes HR is expected to balance employee advocacy with business
Hmm.
priorities.
Yeah.
So, how can HR leaders manage that tension without really losing on the credibility on their side? What do you think?
Okay. uh, you're very right. This is probably the most, I think, challenging aspects of the HR role, because I don't believe HR should, choose between employee and employer, or employee and business. Our responsibility is to create a solution which is sustainable both for the employer and the employee, right? The key is transparency and trust, because for me as HR, I need the workforce, the talent pool. I also need my business to run. If restructuring becomes really necessary, the business decision may be unavoidable, right? And how it's implemented is actually critical. How much fairness, with dignity, with honesty, with trust, it determines whether people continue to trust our organizations or not. Similarly, when employees consistently raise concerns about the workload and pressure, it is important for the HR to, it is the HR's responsibility, I would say, to present those realities objectively to the management, to the leadership, because ignoring them eventually affects productivity and retention. And when productivity and retention is hitting the company, it hits the entire output. It disturbs the ecosystem also. Therefore, and I have found that credibility comes from consistency. This is very important for HRs to be consistent with everything, the way they work. For example, if employees see HR is merely implementing, because it becomes very difficult, we are advocates of both employee and employer from both the sides. So if employee consistently sees the HR is implementing management's decision, then the problem is we lose their trust. Therefore, the trust declines. And similarly, if management sees and HR is consistently defending and advocating employees, the strategic influence declines. So we are in the middle, getting pestered by both employee and employer. Therefore, to be a strong HR leader, I think it is very important, a leader who will align people outcome with the business outcomes. This is indeed a very I would say difficult question, but that is the balanced way we can advocate. That is my take on this.
Well said, Sharmishta. I mean, the balance that you talked about, keeping both the employers and employees at scale, at par with each other. I guess that's the most important point here, as HR leaders can do, right? And like you mentioned, HR's credibility also comes from that very understanding, right? Understanding both the sides, supporting them, and likewise aligning them or their goals to the business direction. Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, great. Okay, then. So moving ahead, as AI, hybrid work, skill shortages, and employee expectations, they continue to reshape work. How will HR's role in board decision making evolve further? What do you have to say about this?
Well, yes, I believe HR will become more central to business strategy over the next few decades. The question is not that AI is going to take over, because this is the most talked about, that AI is going to take over. People, people will reduce, and what will HRs do? No, that is not the contest. I believe that HR is going to be more stronger and central to business strategy. Yeah. And why? Because boards will increasingly ask questions to us. Questions like, which jobs will AI take? Will AI automate? Which capabilities should we build internally? How do we redesign work rather than simplify or replace people? How do we maintain culture in the hybrid organizations? How do we govern AI responsibly, there are immense questions that will come up. And one thing I strongly believe is that AI should be viewed as an opportunity to redesign work, not simply reduce headcount. Because at the end of the day, I see that who has created AI? That is human. So therefore,
Absolutely.
that is human will remain. Obviously, there will be certain jobs which will reduce. Those monotonous jobs may reduce, but some redesignated work will come, I believe. And for many organizations, the bigger challenge won't be technology that time. It will be, how reskilling thousands of employees for new roles. Therefore, as a CHRO of any group or any head of the HR, I think it is important that the head of the HR and the organizations of the future to rely more on the workforce analytics, predictive insights, and scenario planning. With the help of board, make strategic decision. I often say that tomorrow's CHRO will need to just be as comfortable discussing business strategy as towards technology as discussing people. Therefore, the people is going to be central, and it will never lose its role, being the center of the circle. So it's important, and this is how I take it.
Sharmishta, first of all, thank you for clarifying the role of AI and how since many are very much in this skeptical mode of how AI is going to take over things, you have brought in a very fresh perspective here. I really liked how you said that AI is the opportunity to redesign work. Right, that's a very positive and a new perspective towards AI. Okay, and HR. I really liked how you mentioned that HR is going to be more central to organizations, right? That because they will be bringing in more insights, more data, and more foresight into the boardroom discussions. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
And also about the importance of workforce analytics. That is the most important part here,
Very
yes,
important.
which HRs are central to it, looking after it and managing things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so Sharmishta, before we wind up our session, what advice would you give to HR leaders out there who want to move from being operational partners to strategic boardroom influencers? What do you have to say to them?
Yeah, this is very nice question. What advice do I give? Well, my advice, if you say, is quite simple, because as HR, I believe that we should understand if you ask me in one word, I would say business. Why? Because as HR, we must understand the business before business understand us. Before business understands HR, HR should understand the business. We need to learn, apart from the HR, we need to learn more finance, operations, governance, risk, customer strategy. Second is we have to always speak the business language. Rather than saying employee engagement improved by 10%, we should be able to explain how that translated into productivity, how that translated into better results, how that translated into exquisite customer experience, or how that has lowered the attrition rate. So boards respond to business outcomes. And third, it becomes very important that we are data driven, Ria. So data and analytics has to be very, very central in today's world. Therefore, evidence, because Why it is important? Because we all know that no more speculation, no more assumption is working in today's day. Evidence builds credibility. And finally,
Yes.
we need to develop commercial thinking. If we talk about the commercially, if we think, every HR should be able to answer one simple question, that is, how does this improve my business performance, and how does it reduce my business risk? If we are able to translate this into positive results, these questions, we have the answers for these questions, then it would definitely help us. So one lesson that I have learned, I would say, over the years in my career, as HR earns a seat at the board table because it represents people. Not because it represents people, but it helps people make better business decisions through people. I mean, business can make better business decisions through people. Therefore, it's very critical that we are able to answer, how does this improve business performance or reduce business risk? That is a very simple thing. If we are able to translate this, I think we have done most of our answers.
Sharmishta, this was such an amazing advice coming from you. And you have simplified the advice in such a way that it's like easily, understood by all. And, about speaking the language of business, about becoming more outcome driven, data driven, commercial thinking, and definitely to be able to answer the question, how does it improve business performance and reduce the business risk, right? So that is the main motto of all the HR leaders out there, that they should be able to answer this by analyzing things, by taking every data into consideration. Yes?
True. Very true. Very true. Very true.
Okay. Great. So, Sharmishta, we have finally come to the end of our session. So thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your wonderful, incredible insights. It's been more than a pleasure hearing your perspectives on how the HR's role has tremendously evolved and now having a major say in boardroom discussions, and how this can benefit organizations in the long run. So we truly appreciate your time and your expertise. And I'm sure everyone tuning into the session are going to be inspired by your expertise and are walking away with a wealth of information to ponder.
Thank you so much for having me here. I really enjoyed the questions that you have put forth, because this is going to be the real question, for this topic would be whether any board can make the most important strategic discussion without a strong people perspective. Therefore, people perspective is very critical, and no one is going to replace the people. It is just that HR, how we translate it into business results. That's all. And thank you, Riyaz, for being so warm and very nice questions you have put forth that helped me to take my journey from the beginning to end. And I could, if I could answer a few of your questions.
Definitely. It was a wonderful session, Sharmishta. You were smoothly able to answer. So it was a very helpful session for me as well as for the other, listeners out there. And thank you once again, Sharmishta.
Pleasure.
To our listeners, thank you for tuning in. We hope you found today's conversation as enlightening as we did. So until next time, take care and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for listening to Vantage Influencers Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and our Vantage Circle YouTube channel for the latest episodes.